And my family were the ones that prompted me to come, really, because I've got a daughter in Tauranga and I have a son in Whakatane. So it seemed logical to come over the bay. Plus, my married life, I'd wanted to come to the Bay of Plenty and my husband was Waikato. And he said, well, when I'm gone you can do what you like. So that's what I've done. And
Never a day gone by that you...
well, I've been grateful to be here. It's just the lovely view was one of the things that sold the villa to me, because I just love having the view of the sea. Plus the fact that when we first drove into the village, it had an atmosphere that really appealed. And my daughter and I, we just felt this could be home. So I've made it home. I'm probably reasonably happy with my own company if I have a good book to read or a few friends to ring up. But normally I like to interact with people, but not necessarily playing games. And I've always enjoyed doing creative things, so I quite enjoy talking about things that we can make or do. And I like looking at beautiful views. So I enjoy the jaunts that we do with you and with the other people that, you know, exploring the surroundings, because it's new to me in many ways. And then I enjoy watching my own TV, actually. I quite often turn that on in the afternoon and watch the murder mysteries and things that are quite unsuitable for old ladies. But I'm glad that I've got somewhere comfortable to have a rest and put my feet up. Well, the things that I enjoy in Accadia are some of the social events have been very, very entertaining, and I enjoy going over to the entertainment that Peter organises with the lovely instrumentalists or the choirs or the singers that he's brought. So all those times have been excellent, and Accadia has been such a friendly place. I've enjoyed meeting all the local people, and I've made a lot of friends since I've been here, and that's been important to me, because although I like my own company, I do like to interact with other people as well. So that's one of the benefits. Plus I like associating with the other members of our the different homes, like Cedar Manor and Garden, Accadia, what do you call them? Greerton Gardens. Yes, all those different groups of people. Meet another lot of friends. So those are all good occasions. Well, it's very comfortable. Yes, it's just big enough for me. Maybe a little bit more storage, but I mean, I've had to give away a lot of stuff, and I think that's something we have to face as we get older. But I've got plenty of room, really, and it's cool enough when I open the doors both sides and get the breeze through in the summer. And I've got the nice heater up above there, the air conditioner for the winter time. So I haven't been here too long to get bored with it. And I have a spare room where a friend can come and stay, and I've got a nice shower and toilet all in one area, which makes it convenient. I must confess I haven't been a very good cook, and I tended to go to the meals because I find the dinners are very, very nice that are arranged for us. So that's all been and plus the company at lunchtime, I've enjoyed that. So those are all benefits that I've found since I've been here. And another thing about this particular area is that Accadia is situated so close to the amenities that we want, like the bank and the post office is handy, and the grocer, you know, the supermarket is handy, and I can walk to the doctors and the chemist. So all those things are important when I was thinking about coming here. So that helped to make up my mind. And
I chose Accadia because we did a little bit of a tour around the various other establishments, but they weren't me. I'm not used to being hemmed in sort of in a situation where you're sort of running up and down stairs and it's sort of like glorified hotels and things. So after looking around the area and out at Greerton, the minute we drove in here, I immediately had a feeling of, oh, this is the place for me. And that's why I chose Accadia, and I said to my family, that's where I want to go. And that's how it came about. And so we started the ball rolling from there and got ourselves organised. And well, I like the place being a little bit smaller than the normal ones, where because it can't expand any further, it lends itself to making one get to know everyone sort of thing, even with the residents over in the care area and that. And you get to know them, and then, you know, you've got that closeness and friendliness of a place like this. And so you can join in, you know, with the rest of them. So, yes. Yes. Yeah. So when I'm needed, I'm there, you know, so I'm quite happy. And it just gives me a little bit of time to keep up my playing, as it were, because I've done that all my life anyhow, so...
And you enjoy playing for the residents?
Yes, I do. Although I would quite like a few more to attend on a Friday evening, but that's not always possible. But there are the regular ones that come along, and they seem to enjoy the playing and the singing if they know the words. Yeah, so I just normally, I mainly play by ear, although I have learnt classical music, so I can read music enough. But the ones I play by ear are the good old-fashioned ones. Absolutely, yes. And I find it very good because I see a lot more of them now than what I used to when I lived out in Cattycat, because I always found it difficult to get out to Cattycat. So it was easier for me to come in here, and then they can visit, so I see them practically every week at some stage or another. And my son calls in once or twice a week after work, so that's good too.
But you recommend others to come to
Absolutely,
Accadia?
Absolutely, and I think I have mentioned that in those surveys they do, that I wouldn't hesitate to recommend anyone to come and look at Accadia. Yeah, gee.
Well, mainly because I had family here. I lived in Martin for over 60 years, and
as I lost my friends, of course, at my age group, I thought it was time I moved up here. I've got a daughter here, a son in Rotorua and a son and daughter in Auckland. I've also got 2 lovely granddaughters here, which helps. And Tauranga always appealed to me in any case. But I looked at a lot of retirement villages before I settled on Accadia, but from the time I came here, it just felt right. And I forgot to, I must mention too that there was a group of residents talking outside in the sun that day, and I went over to them and I said, is it nice here? And they said, oh yes, come and join us. But apart from that, it felt right, and I liked the central position of it, and the smallness. It's intimate, and having been here now for 3 years, I can honestly say that it is the place to be. It really is. I love all the outings and the facilities that we've got here. I love playing cards, Scrabble, rugby cup, bowls. Yes, all the things that we do here. I just love it. And the staff are wonderful, and we are really one big happy family. Yeah. I really do enjoy the outings. I'm not always available because I do go into the village myself, and that's good because I can spread the word. A lot of people ask me where I am, and when I tell them that I'm in a retirement village, they want to know all about it. So I really give Accadia a plug there. I really do, and I think quite a few people are, take note of that. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. They tried for, I suppose, 3 or 4 years to convince me that I should be in a retirement village before I got too old to appreciate it. And they're all up here, so I had to come up north, and I have had no regrets whatever. I just love it. Oh, wonderful. We're close to a bank just down the road. It's very central. We've got a little shopping complex down there if we need it. Yes, within walking distance of most things we need. There's a blood bank not far away, and quite a few of us have to go there regularly, and it's not too far to walk. Very, very handy indeed. That was one of the factors, actually, that it was so central. I didn't want to be stuck out in the hot box. Definitely, that was another factor that maybe decide on this particular apartment. Yes, love it, and I still love it. And I love watching all the cruise boats come in and go out. It's wonderful. Just love it. You don't realise it until you've experienced it or speak to somebody who has experienced it. It really is wonderful. I should have come 5 years ago. I should have really, but you've got to make that big move. Rejected for 2 or 3 years, leaving my friends behind. But having said that, it didn't take me very long to settle down and realise that this is what I wanted and this is what I should have had. I just love it. I just love it.
Something like that.
Another reason I chose Accadia was the central location. It's handy to the bank, the post office, and a few shops down the road, and we've got the blood bank just handy, which is quite handy for quite a number of us. Yes, it was a very important factor. And of course the view, which everybody loves the view from my apartment, and I love it daily, looking to see what I can see, and I love the cruise boats coming in. Was a big factor, definitely a big factor. Very nice.
Yep. Yeah. One of our big selling points, points of difference in fact, is the size of the village. Is that because of so many big villages being built, that we are more of a community because we're not a big village. And so I get people coming here who want to be here because it's more friendly and get to know other people better than they would do in a big village. So yeah. Right, well, Accadia, because it's centrally situated, is flat and close to the shops and banks and post offices and doctors and chemists. But because we only have 13 villas and 20 apartments, then it's not a big village. So it's very much a boutique village,
Our residents are a community, so when we go out, we can all go out and all participate together and do things. We like to go out and about. We have a mystery bus trip, and that's a mystery because I'm not sure where we're going, but because I have plenty of people to help me, then we choose where we might go to. We might go to the bird gardens, we might go out to the beach for lunch, we might go afternoon tea somewhere, and probably in the autumn up to where the gardens are and those sorts of things. We also we have made a couple of trips now out to see the cruise ships, which has been fun. And we take a bus load and we toodle off and have drinks on the beach and plate of sandwiches, and we had fish and chips one night, and we watched the cruise ships go out. They leave port about 6 o'clock, the ones that go, and it's lovely. It's just superb down at Pilot Bay, and everybody enjoys those things we do down there. 13 two-bedroom villas. Some have garages, some do not have garages, but we have parking for everybody if they need it.
I think we'll back up a step.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Just keep it at a slightly more
Yeah,
generic
okay.
level.
And we have 13 villas.
Go back to the start.
Sorry, start again.
No, you're fine.
We have 13 villas, all of two-bedroom villas. They all have, some have internal garages and some don't. We have 20 apartments, one-bedroom apartments. We also have, of those 20 apartments, 7 of them are studio units. They all have kitchenettes and kitchens, so you have your choice as an independent living person whether you cook your meals or whether you come down to our dining room where a lot of our residents choose to come for social reasons as well as for a nice meal. We have a chef on site, so a lot of our residents choose to come to meals. Both villas and apartment residents come for their main meal, and they are able to get their own, if they wish to, cook in their own units, or they can get breakfast and tea and have a nice meal with everybody else and make social contact, which is all part of the community living in the village. So, with the 3 Bupa villages in Tauranga, we have developed a combined a men's group, which the men meet and do boy things, and the ladies group we have speakers and various other activities and guest speakers and fashion parades and going out for lunch. The men take a bus and they go out and they've been to the port and they've been to the Classic Flyers and they go out and do their thing and they organise themselves really. So because there's a balance of males and females, we collectively can have quite a big men's group, which has been most effective. Some of our ladies play games like Rummy Cub, very keen Rummy Cub group. They play cards, and we have film afternoons. Gardeners, we've got gardeners. People play bowls, and in a village, in the community itself, the concept of village living is that people get on with their own lives, and we've got golfers and bowlers and people that go to Probus and people that go to Lions and people that go to the RSA and people belong to their own outside groups in the community. So it's a lot of it's about living in a village is the security of living here, knowing that if you open your door in the morning somebody will say hello to you, and if you're unwell then somebody will notice. You have hang on.
You can take time to think.
Part of the reason that some people come into the village is to enable their own families to take them out, whereas sometimes living in the community in today's society, young family, obviously working, or and so you become somewhat isolated, or can do, in the community. Whereas here, it's all about feeling safe, about enjoying the company of others, about your family being able to come and say, "Hey, Mum, let's go out for a cup of coffee," as opposed to Mum coming to make sure that you're safe every day, and because they know you're safe every day, and they can go holidaying your family can go holidaying and they can do their things with their children, knowing that you're safe and you knowing that you're not relying on them.
And it's you.
It is, yeah.
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 Oh, that's lovely.
That's the big thing that I see about village living, is that people can come and it stops being a duty for families. It becomes a different relationship, like it should be. Because often when you get older, and I know this because this happened to me, and the difference it made with my mum going to a village was that instead of it being a duty to make sure mum was okay at night, that she'd taken her pills, that she'd locked up, that she was okay, or that I was going away and what was I going to do about someone sick, you knew that they were going to be all right. And you could pop in and say, hey, let's go out for coffee, we're off. You know, as opposed to going and saying, oh God, I have to go and see mum today because she's, you know, or whatever. So that's what I see in the village.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, I think it's just like, well, when I drove in here, it just felt the right place to come. And the three of us, I've just been speaking to different friends here, and they've all had the same experience. Gone around and looked at all the homes, driven in here, and straight away they've got that feeling, this is the place. I don't know what it is, probably the name. It's called Accadia, and I think that means peace and, or something to that effect, yeah.
Lovely.
Oh, well, we have exercises. Only a few of us go to that, only 3 of us really. And, we've got walks. Every Monday there's a walk somewhere, and we never, that's the fun part. We get on the little van and off we go, and we never know where we're going. And I think that's great. We just wonder, she turns the corner this way or that way. You've met Philippa, no doubt, and Philippa takes us somewhere different. If the wind's blowing, we go somewhere where we won't get wind, and if it's a hot day, we go somewhere where there's trees. So it's wonderful.
Oh, that's so nice.
It is. Well, I grow a lot of my own vegetables. I've got rhubarb and tomatoes in pots where I haven't got enough room in the garden. And I like to grow my greens. I always have my salad every day. And then in the flower garden, I'm quite pleased. I've got a red hydrangea, which has given us a lot of pleasure. I've given it around. It comes out at Christmas, and it's beautiful to have a red hydrangea at Christmas time. And the front garden, I grow it for the people in care, because they always come and walk across here, and they always look, and I hear them all saying, oh, I used to grow that. And I try to keep it sort of a bit old-fashioned in the front garden, cottage garden style.
That's so
I still go to Probus, that's the main one outside, and I've got a lot of family here, you see, so all the children, if they had sports, sports days, picked up and go to see them, so. And other than that, because unfortunately I've lost 2 very close friends. I do a lot of bus trips too. You've probably heard of Andy and Number 8 bus. He's wonderful. He picks up at the village and drops you off and go all over the place. In fact, I think I've got about 30 booked up with him up till the end of May, I think it is. So.
that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Goodness.
Because you go the whole years. So I went so far, and I put it on the diary when I've got to have a look at the next lot. But the other day I went on one of his to Matamata and saw these homes and gardens, so that was a lovely day out. Pick up at 8:15 and home after 5, so.
Beautiful about that sort of thing.
Well, I think here, when people come from Waihi and that area, Katikati, they're just down here, you see, they go past here. It's so easy to pop in. And if I was way over at the mount, they wouldn't bother. So I get extra pleasure out of seeing those people popping in.
That's lovely.
I always say to people, if they say, if you're going into a retirement village, think well, think of your family calling in. You don't want to go way out of town. I looked at a lot way up at Althorpe, and I thought, it's no good for me. There's nowhere walking. It's all uphill and down dale, and you've got to think of all those things.
So if you were going,
Well, I would say the area, number 1 is the area, because you see, I can just go across here to the bank, my bank's here, post office here, chemist is just down the road, the doctor's just down the road. Those sort of things. You don't want to be stuck way out at Bethlehem and your doctor's out at Otamutai. You know, you've got to think ahead for all those types of things. I mean, everybody mightn't agree, because I've never driven, you see. I've always been a walker, and I had a good husband that if I want to go anywhere, he'd drive, you see. But I drove for a wee bit, but I was never very happy.
About the banks and stuff.
Yes, well, as I say, I looked at so many different places, but I realised that Accadia was just so central. It's not only handy to the post office and the banks, but the hopper buses. You see, if I go to town, I can catch it on Cameron Road to go one way, and the 70 bus comes down on this road and almost drops you at home. So that's another advantage. You know, the hopper buses is my transport everywhere, really, unless I'm going out of town. And, yeah. We only have happy hours on the Friday night, and there's not a lot of us go, but we always enjoy it. It's surprising what conversations come up, and you know, and some come down. You know, you don't have to take wine if you don't. We've all got a little wee tiny bottle, 2 nips, and away we go. And surprising how we put the world right at times.
It's beautiful. Tell us all about the cruise ship one.
Oh, that was wonderful, because we decided it was a beautiful evening. You couldn't have got a better night for it. And to think that 2 big ships were going out was going to be a real thrill for a lot of us. And I've always loved big ships, of course. Anyhow, we went down there and got tea served on the beach and watched these 2 big ships, and they kept blowing. One would blow the hooter, and then the other one would. And then they got into, because they saw all the crowd and we were waving and everybody was happy. And then they started a band going between the 2 ships. It was incredible, wonderful night. Jan had gone down the day before, or a week before, and sussed out where to leave the van. It was just across from where we were, and she said that, you know, just drove the van in. They said, oh, any time at all. So she was very lucky that we've got that lovely park too. And the men themselves put their beer down and helped us across the street. Wonderful night.
That's beautiful.